Hello. Welcome to J&J Artisan Pipes Shoptalk. I'm John.
I'm Jared.
What are you drinking?
I'm drinking I'm drinking a Cabernet. Quite palatable.
Quite cheap.
Kirkland.
Costco brand. Woot. I know some of you prefer Sam's Club. That's fine. Or Winco.
Right.
Anyhow, it's nice. It's cheap. But it's good. And it's a California winery that they don't tell you which. So, little mystery involved. Moving on. What are you smoking?
I'm smoking Cornell and Diehl's Snug Harbor, which I believe I've done already on the program.
And I'm smoking Newminster's 400 Superior Navy Flake, which I believe I've also smoked on the program before.
Two good tobaccos for you thrifty people out there. I think that's
Order in
probably
bulk.
$30 a pound.
Very cheap.
So is Snug Harbor. It's just a good deal for good tobacco.
And if you're bummed that we are smoking something again on this podcast, the same tobacco, then by all means, please send us new tobacco and we'll try it.
We are willing to be bribed.
Anywho, today we're asked about staining. And so we're going to talk about staining and what goes into staining.
So, you have a pipe, it's shaped, drilled, there's a stem in it, blah, blah, blah. And you get to the part where you're at about 220 grit and the pipe is at its final shape. What happens now is about 2 hours of,
If you're fast.
of just sanding 400 grit.
Hand sanding.
400 grit. And it goes on. And then 600 grit. 600 grit. And then a finer grit. And then you're finally ready to stain, but you better had been thorough, because if you weren't, you have to go all the way back.
There's nothing worse than staining something and realizing there's a scratch from a lower grit. There's a 220 scratch on the rim here. No! So it's not fun.
Yeah. So, and especially when combined with the rarity of good grain.
Yeah.
Those two things are what make expensive pipes expensive. Is that, like, rare grain is rare. It's just you don't find really tight grain worthy of being smooth very often.
Yeah, it's a good block with good grain, and the shape brings out that grain that's handmade, and then there's tons of work in finishing it.
Yeah.
And it's just a lot of work.
Yeah. And then you get to the staining, which is just incredibly complicated, and we still don't understand every little detail after 5 years of doing it. We're really good, and there's a lot of people who are really good, but I don't think anyone can claim just like this is it. Maybe Tom Eltang.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people are like, this is it for me.
Right.
And
But there's so many combinations.
Right, but each combination is kind of like the individual recipe for each pipe maker, and people will not usually give that out. So we're not going to talk about the particular stains or particular staining methods per se that we use, but we will say that generally that is well known in the industry is that Fibing's alcohol-based leather dye is used for staining most of the time, or at least in combination with water-based stains or oil-based stains, and so they all have their own different colors, and oftentimes you see a pipe that's two-toned. That could be 3 different colors on there to make that two-tone. There could be something that looks one color and it's 2 stains. Sometimes it's just 1 stain. Sometimes
it's
it's
very
not
complicated
stained, which is one
to
of
get
the most beautiful.
And especially if you have an accent and you want to make sure that the accent and the briar complement each other, it's very difficult to get just the right stains. So it's just incredibly complicated. Loads and loads of research has gone into it. So we're not going to tell you.
Also, watch episode 6 to know about the raffle pipe that we're raffling off for October and all the criteria therein. In episode 7, we mentioned that the way that you get entered into the raffle, which is a free raffle basically, well, it's not free. Nothing's free. You have to share the video, one of the videos in October, on Facebook, and we have to know that you shared it. So in order for us to know that you shared it, you have to tag us so that we can put you down in the raffle.
And if you did it already, but you forgot to tag us, please just let us know and we'll put you in.
Yeah.
That's it. And we will see you
Next week.
next week.
Ciao.